We all know the drill. Your phone rings, the caller ID starts with 070, and you instantly ignore it. We assume there's a scammer sitting in an overseas boiler room using specialized software to hide their location and trick us into picking up. This is the general understanding of number spoofing. The idea is that criminals intercept a foreign digital signal, manipulate the caller ID data inside a central server, and then route it so it appears on your screen as a local domestic call. To counter this, the South Korean government passed an aggressive legislative amendment specifically designed to identify and ban the hardware that makes this caller ID manipulation possible. On paper, this strategy seems airtight, but the specific methods and hardware described in the legal text don't always match the equipment that police are actually seizing from modern criminal hubs. Under the newly amended Article 84-2 of the Telecommunications Business Act, the law is explicit. As highlighted here on the right, it prohibits manufacturing, importing, or providing any device designed to, quote, falsely display a sender's telephone number. Violating this can lead to 3 years in prison or significant fines. The entire weight of this law hinges on a technicality, the actual act of modifying or falsifying the caller ID data. This creates a specific boundary. If an operation functions without technically falsifying the signal data, it exists outside the primary reach of this major legal amendment. This is the Mobile VoIP Gateway, a hardware unit referenced in nearly every major voice phishing bust since 2018. Its intended function is to act as a physical bridge, taking internet-based communications and routing them through standard cellular networks. In 2018, criminal syndicates realized they didn't need to write code to spoof 070 numbers into 010 numbers if they simply placed the calls using real domestic numbers from the start. They loaded gateways with dozens of legally registered burner SIM cards, seen here. By keeping the hardware inside South Korea, the calls originate locally. When a criminal dials out via the internet, the machine uses a physical burner SIM to make a standard 010 call. Because the number on your screen is the actual number assigned to that SIM card, no data is being falsified. Technically, zero spoofing occurs, meaning the new law doesn't actually apply to the call. Police tracked physical 3G signals to their source, leading to raids on improvised domestic relay stations, exactly like this one. While effective, losing hundreds of burner SIM cards in a single bust was a significant financial hit for criminals. To protect their assets, criminals began splitting the hardware. Using the cloud server system seen here, they separated the valuable SIM cards from the transmission points. The SIM cards stay safely in overseas SIM banks, communicating via the internet to empty, disposable SIM boxes hidden within South Korea. If police raid a location, they only find the antenna box, not the SIMs. The most recent evolution moves away from specialized hardware entirely. Scammers now use call and message continuity features to remotely hijack regular domestic smartphones, turning an unsuspecting user's phone into a hidden relay. Criminal tactics are evolving at the speed of software updates. This leaves rigid, hardware-focused laws perpetually struggling to catch up with methods that have already changed. This creates a difficult situation in the courtroom. When a voice phishing syndicate is captured, the legal tools designed to stop them don't always fit the crime. In reality, prosecutors rarely use the flagship number spoofing amendment for these convictions. They can't prove falsification when the hardware used legitimate SIM cards to place the calls. Instead, they rely on broader charges, such as electronic financial fraud or the illegal distribution of burner phones to secure a sentence. The result is a specific amendment that was heavily publicized as the solution to voice phishing, but is effectively unused in the actual prosecution of these crimes. While scammers easily sidestep the law, the same legislation is creating new risks for legitimate businesses. Corporate call centers and marketing firms use similar mobile VoIP gateways for lawful customer service. These companies use compliant enterprise hardware. As noted here, these devices use standard domestic modem chips and cannot alter their internal IMEI tracking numbers. Because they lack location spoofing or IMEI modification tools, they operate within standard telecommunications networks using corporate-registered SIMs. Yet the vague language of the blanket ban creates operational hurdles for these legitimate domestic firms, while actual criminals continue to smuggle unregulated parts from overseas without disruption. When policies are built on technical definitions that the market has already moved past, The result is a law that fails to catch its intended target while penalizing the companies that actually follow the rules.